Hey, what's up, everybody? Sorry for the delay. They had to do construction in my office area here. And so there was a whole lot of resetting happening and, redoing Lee's crazy tack technology, which is very hard to figure out. This was taken off for the repairs, and then there's a whole.
Hey, what's up,
shit.
everybody? Sorry for the delay. They had to do construction in my
I'm freaking myself
office
out.
area here. So there was a whole lot of resetting.
There you go. Okay. Yeah, sorry. The tacks make me really jumpy. I'm really jumpy with tacks, so it's like, yeah, that freaked me out. So I have to mute 15 things. So all right, great start. I mean, just great start. Great start. Hello, everybody. All right, let's get right into it. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Government Secrets, episode 195 with the two most censored comedians in America, Lee Camp and Graham Elwood.
Hello, sir. It's not called tack technology. It's called technology. All right, and that's a patent pending, trademarked. It's high technology.
Technology. Yeah, it's so hard to figure out, Lee. I just don't have the brain capacity for figuring out technology.
I know how it is. I know how it is. All right. Well, we got some great segments this week, and in my segment, I'm going to give you the secrets of some of the hidden secrets of the Civil War and the Cold War. And you've got some San Antonio Air Force Base scandals to go with.
Oh. It was one of those beautiful things.
There are any scandals at the Air Force Base.
It was one of those, like, I typed in like Air Force scandals, and then I saw this stuff about San Antonio. I was like, what? And I go to this base in San Antonio, and it's like, that's why this show will never end. Like, we could do 6 episodes just on the San Antonio Air Force Base. like just
that's amazing.
Bribery, just amazing stuff. So it's gonna be a lot of fun today. I got really excited when we did that episode a couple weeks or last month with the Fat Leonard guy, and just how I was like,
yeah. He was rerouting the entire U.S. naval fleet through his basement just to make some extra money.
And then when he said in an interview, if they arrested all the admirals that were in on this, there'd be no Navy. And I was like, I bet you there's other Fat Leonards in other branches of the military.
Other Fat Leonards, yeah. Oh, I bet there is.
And oh boy, some of them did some business in San Antonio, Texas. So it's,
and everyone should remember when we're talking about scandals within the U.S. military, basically without exception, these are the ones that first of all, someone found out about. I mean, the amount of bribery that's probably never gone reported, or it's just unbelievable. But then on top of that, we're mainly going off of stuff that's been reported, not necessarily in mainstream, but at least in local news or something. So it's it's the amount of scandals that we'll never find out about are just.
Oh, dude, these are the guys that got caught. It's just it's unreal. And there was court cases, and I'm like, how many of these guys never got caught, or they just paid people off to not get caught, or whatever? Yeah. I was like, oh my God, this is the scratching of the surface. It's like when the cops bust the corrupt drug dealer or whatever. And I'm like, oh my God, how much got passed through before anybody knew about anything? So
yeah.
It got me excited. I felt like I did when I used to just type in CIA operation and pick a letter of the alphabet, and then we had 2 seasons of content.
two seasons of alphabetical CIA horror shows. Yeah.
And then hey, let's look up lost nukes. And then, oh, that was a couple of months of programming.
If we end up with enough time, I will ultimately get into more stories of times we, along with the Soviet Union, almost obliterated the world.
Love it. I love it. Well, I feel like mine's going to be a little more fun and silly. So maybe we should start with yours, because I bet you some of your secrets are pretty dark and horrifying.
So, some might be, but there's just some good silliness in here. But yeah, I can start. And this is continuing off last week's episode on. So these are kind of smaller secrets. These are like not full episode type things. And they're coming almost entirely from this book called Hitler's Secret Jewish Psychic, which it's got an interesting title, but 98% of this book is not about Hitler. So
if that just sounds like a 70s grindhouse movie, Hitler's Secret Jewish Psychic and zombie nymphos,
totally.
But I also I poured out the last, I had a little tea left over. I was like, I'm going to have just a little iced tea. And all I had left was this much. And I'm like, well, this looks like I'm drinking whiskey. This totally looks like I'm just sitting here going, you know what, Lee? I can't do this anymore.
Absolutely does. The day Graham falls off the wagon.
Just, the San Antonio pushed me over the limit. I thought it was a good city.
I'm like, oh shit, it was our little podcast that did it, that finally broke him.
Yeah, it'll be this podcast.
I was hoping it was one of those Marine Corps haircuts he accidentally got in Asia.
It just came with a bottle of Jack Daniels. Like, here's a haircut and a bottle of Jack.
So I wanted to start with Civil War. I only have a few on the Civil War, but some of them are gems. So these are some hidden stories about the Civil War that people don't talk about much, and maybe small circles of historians know about them. But so to begin with, the leaders of the two sides of the Civil War, Abraham Lincoln and Jefferson Davis, easily could have been switched. Like, we in another history timeline, we easily could have had Abraham Lincoln leading the South and Jefferson Davis leading the North. And here's why. They were both born in Kentucky, less than 100 miles and 8 months apart. So they're both born in Kentucky, 100 miles apart. And then each family moves when they are young. One moves north and one moves south. Davis goes to Mississippi. Lincoln obviously went to Indiana, and then Illinois, I guess. But historians have speculated that if the choices of the parents had just been slightly reversed, you could have had competing forces under the opposite leadership. We also covered, we did, I think, a full episode on the Donner Party, the secrets of the Donner Party, and the fact that Abraham Lincoln was nearly in the Donner Party.
Yeah, so, it's great that, like, it's almost like a coin toss. And because Lincoln was just such a good leader, he would have won. He would have protected slavery if he would have been for the South. He would have been
he probably would have been a leader wherever he went. He might not have become president or whatever, but and you are a creation. A lot there's some great books on this, but you're a creation of essentially where you're born and how you were raised. Even if some of us break free of a lot of our cultural programming, we're still, like, I understand Israel's committing genocide, but I imagine if I had been born and raised in Gaza, I might be Hamas. Like who knows, like, what you'd be if you were, and yet we pretend as if these are just ideas that we just came up with,
Well, yeah, if you would have been born in Gaza, maybe you'd be Hamas. If you were been born in Israel, maybe you'd be in the IDF going, I got to defend my homeland against the terrorists or whatever. Like,
absolutely.
There's so many things I think about. Like, if I was in high school when 9/11 happened, I would have joined the military. I just know, like, for sure I would have. And then I'd be one of these millennials in my late 30s or early 40s, just either totally rah America or just completely disillusioned from what happened over there. Maybe I would have died over. I don't know. Like, who knows?
Well, and you can be totally rah America because you've been properly indoctrinated and still have been completely fucked up by seeing war or whatever. So it's like you could just be a mess of a human because of the shit you were put through. Like, yeah.
Instead, I'm just a mess of a comedian from the shit I was put through, by
different kinds of shit though.
Different kind of shit. Yeah. Childhood trauma, and then going to war zones as a comedian, and losing my home to foreclosure, and it's a lot of fun. You know what I mean? And it's great. And the state of the world right now is really, really fantastic.
I mean, life in a collapsing empire is it's just peaches and cream. It's just there's very little bad that comes about in a collapsing empire.
No. There's no downside. I mean, it's great that like, hey, I'm going to invade Greenland, and then all of the markets tank, like stock market, Bitcoin loses 10 grand. Like everybody it's awesome. And it's great. That's why I'm drinking whiskey. So I
will say that as each of these things happen and I go, what the fuck is he doing? Like NATO's done because NATO's at war with each other nearly. So it's like, okay, well, NATO's done. Europe is our enemy now. The stock markets are all tanking. And while all of that seems in many ways to be kind of negative for the world, the U.S. empire needs to collapse. And this guy is pressing the accelerator. So that's a positive.
No, it's a good thing. Like literally, so are we going to go to war with Finland? Like what's going on? Like, everyone's turning on us, and everyone is going to, I mean, look, it was not reported in the Western media at all, but Saudi Arabia joined BRICS on January 1st, and January 4th, we go kidnap Maduro and G.
Yeah, I wonder if and I also covered, it was like a year ago or something, that the literal petrodollar deal was up for needed to be re-signed, and Saudi Arabia didn't re-sign it. That doesn't mean that they're taking all their money out of petrodollars immediately. So it's not like an instant change. And NASDAQ.com, someone wrote one article, like there was someone at NASDAQ.com who wrote an article about it and what impact it would have. And then like 2 days later, that article's gone.
Gone. I mean, it's just like, so it's, we are in insane times. I'm supposed to fly to China to do shows there for a week, and then Japan. And I'm just like, I finally got a visa. The visa was delayed. And I'm just like,
I mean, right now, China's probably one of the safer places in the world.
I know. I got a 10-year tourist visa. I'm like, I might just hang. I mean, like, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm something like, is China going to invade Taiwan while I'm there? Is America going to like be at war with Europe over Greenland? I mean, and while this is happening, like, I just feel like the dollar and the yen and everything else is going to collapse. I just feel like I'm going to just be stuck somewhere going, I was thinking about that right before the show. I said, if this all goes south while I'm in Japan, I think I'm just going to go to Okinawa because there's surfing and the weather's nice. And my samurai instructor was from Okinawa, and my Japanese karate style is emanated from Okinawa. So I was like, I don't know. I just have this feeling like I'm going to end up there.
You know what you do is, when it gets bad enough, you just surf the other direction. Just surf out into the ocean and say goodbye. Just gonna go. Things seem calmer out in the ocean.
Yep. I'm good. Like, I think something in the next couple of weeks, either big financial collapse, massive war, maybe both, alien invasion, something like that is coming. Like, so I have this feeling in my, like, some big cataclysmic, crazy something is going to happen. You know what I mean? Elon Musk is going to rip off his mask, and there's going to be like lizard gargoyles or something.
Look, I already have a month's worth cans of tuna, so I'm pretty good. So I'm just going to get back to reading about the Civil War.
You're
I
just
mean,
in your bunker with Civil War books. Is that just?
this is kind of a separate. You know how we do our producing like actually on the live stream. This is kind of a separate version. We're producing our like doomsday plans on the live stream. Just like so, like how many blankets do you think we need? Do you need in your bunker? Or
Yeah, I'm just like, I think I might be ending up either in Okinawa or Vietnam. Vietnam seems safe, very safe communist country with nice beaches.
well, oh, the irony would have come full circle if Vietnam is the place to go for safety from the U.S. empire
For Americans.
as America collapses. Yeah.
Oh boy.
All right. So, one of the most decisive battles in the Civil War, Gettysburg, 1863, would likely not have happened if it weren't for shoes. both, and it was one of those deadly too. It was horrifically deadly. One of the most, so the forces, Union and Confederate, were widely scattered around the area of Pennsylvania. A rebel brigade commanded by Harry Heth had picked up a rumor that a supply of new boots lay in a store in town. Now, I get that if you read that nowadays and you go, you could probably wait. Like, why do you need new boots now? But I also imagine you're marching 100 miles a day or whatever. You probably tear through boots pretty quickly.
And
So-
if you're an army and everyone's feet are injured, you're not moving very,
You're
like
not moving at all,
nothing,
yeah.
nothing's happening.
So one account has it that he got the information from picking up a stray copy of the newspaper, the Gettysburg Compiler, and he saw that there was a new stock of boots.
Big full page boot ad
Yeah.
in the Gettysburg Controller, or whatever it's called.
So he went to his commander for permission to go get the boots in town. And General Lee had given a command to not engage the enemy unless forces were concentrated. Basically, don't go fight. If you run into the enemy, don't fight them unless that's the plan. And, this was often how battles worked back then. There was not a whole lot of like one guy sneaking through the woods, picking people off. It was like your forces engage each other kind of in a front-on assault often. So the first commander refuses Heth's request because he didn't want him to stumble into the enemy in town and end up fighting him and end up causing a battle. But Heth really wanted those shoes. So he went over that guy's head to Major General Ambrose Hill, and he convinced him that there were no there were no Union soldiers in town. And so General Hill said, yeah, go for it. So at 8 o'clock in the morning, Heth blunders into town and stumbles straight into a Union cavalry unit. And hostilities broke out on both sides. They rushed for reinforcements. In 3 days, the fate of the whole war was essentially decided. It was the greatest and bloodiest battle fought on the North American continent. 90,000 Union troops pitched up against 75,000 Confederates, and a third of all those were killed. The South suffered 28,000 dead, and the North 23,000. And like this is where you can picture like what they talk about of just like fields where the piles of bodies are so like you can't even walk through the field. Like there's nowhere to walk. It's unbelievable. By late of July 3rd, Lee was in retreat, and although the war would go on for nearly 2 more years, he would never regain the strategic initiative. He was unable to pick his own moment for a decisive battle, and it likely happened because of shoes.
Oh, this is why, guys, never go on a shoe run. You know what I mean? Then battle can break out. You know what I mean?
Without
Like,
reinforcements. I've always said, bring a posse if you're getting shoes.
that's why I never go into a Payless unless I'm like 6 deep and we're all strapped. You know what I mean?
And every time you see a fucking Kardashian wandering through, picking their Gucci shoe, remember about what men went through in the past to get shoes.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't
always-
would you like a glass of champagne while you choose your Armani shoes? Me. No,
I'm
it was like
always-
bullets whizzing by your head.
Yeah, I always go in locked and loaded, full body armor, automatic weapon, just to get those brown Velcro shoes that old people get from Payless. You know what I mean?
That's what I picture you wearing, Graham. I picture you doing your jujitsu in like brown, tannish brown orthopedic shoes.
With the Velcro strap.
A big Velcro strap that can be Velcroed for those who are incapable of bending over.
Yes, yes. And you have to take this seriously. You have to go in armed.
I mean, here's the thing: is it's all the more humiliating when you're getting your head kicked in by one of those shoes. So I understand your reasoning. It's like a humiliation tactic.
Yeah, I'm psychological because this guy is wearing shoes like he's 96 years old and he's attacking. He's never going to attack me. Well, guess what? You're wrong, you son of a bitch. Here comes some fucking tan Velcro fury, bitch. It's going at you hard.
The impression that an orthopedic leaves in your skull is rough.
When you hear that of the tightening of the Velcro, it's on, baby. It is on.
This is the sound of your death, motherfucker.
I'm strapping up the tan Velcros, bitch. Here it comes.
Putting on those varicose vein socks. Getting ready.
Just
Compression socks, ready to go.
getting icy hot all over the joints and just let's do it.
Every time they grab you, they're like, "Oh, icy, hot, oh!"
And this battle is going to be over before 5 because that's when supper is. You know what I mean?
you
That's
do
how.
is You grab their head and you rub their eyes against the icy hot on your chest. They can't see
Yep.
shit. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just a floating weapon. Everything I have on, it's a weapon. The icy hot, the hip sack that I've got, the Palm Springs bedazzled T-shirt that I'm wearing. Like everything is just.
Everything is part of a distraction technique. Yeah. It's well done. It's well done. The Buddhist bracelets you have on that seem like you're not going to hit them in the face, but
Oh, yeah. Here come. Oh, yeah. You want to meditate?
Well,
I'm going to
if
send you some.
if you look closely, the beads actually spell out violence first.
I'm going to send you to the next life, son of a bitch. Here it comes.
All right. So the South, thanks for that tangent. The South came within 24 hours of entering the American capital a year later in July 1864. So the South was closer to taking the capital, at least temporarily, than most people know. It was in the last major Confederate assault of their campaign in the North. The only reason why Washington escaped destruction was the mercenary greed of the officer in command, Major General Jubal Early. We need to bring back the first name Jubal. You know, it's funny. That's what people called me sometimes in high school. They were like, "Hey, Jubal, ball of Jew."
You ball of Jew.
Jubal Early had dallied for a day at Frederick, Jew for short. His friends called him Jew. Frederick, Maryland, just 40 miles from Washington. It had become a successful practice of enemy troops to demand ransoms from the communities they passed through, which is real nice, in order to not burn down their town. So basically, give us money or we're going to burn your town down.
Oh, what a great point. This is another revenue stream for us, Lee. We should be going through town.
I hadn't thought of that. We combine it with a comedy tour. It's like,
yeah, yes.
We perform somewhere, then we go to the next town over and we say, give us all your money. We're going to burn it down.
Yeah. If this theater doesn't sell out, you guys balloon, their whole town goes up in smoke.
I mean, judging by what right wingers might think of our show, we could just threaten to do a show there.
I love it.
Give us money or we'll perform here.
Yeah, give us money, we'll perform here.
It might work in a lot of southern towns.
Oh, I'm into that. Any way we can exploit people's stupidity for money, I'm in.
A Jew hippie and a Buddhist surfer dude are going to perform in your town if you don't fucking give us money.
And they're both socialists. Like that will just, oh my God. So great.
So Early had Commander Early had made $20,000, perhaps the equivalent to $1 million in modern value, from the residents of nearby Hagerstown 3 days before. At Frederick, he demanded $200,000, which would be like $10 million. He had to wait an extra day as the townsfolk worked to try and collect that much cash. That lost a day and allowed 8,000 Northern troops to pour in defenses 3 miles outside the town to block the road to Washington. The Battle of Monocacy, I don't know if that still exists, proved sufficient to drain the strength of Early's attack. And although he was victorious, he was now within 12 miles of the capital. He had had enough and turned south and headed back home. Had he not waited for the ransom in Frederick, he likely would have taken the capital, at least temporarily.
So this guy's just greedy side hustle kept him from winning the war? Nice.
Well, I don't know that taking Kabul would have meant they'd win the war, but yeah. They would have at least burned some buildings in the capital.
Well, I mean, I'm telling you, Lee, I think we should really think about how our next tour should go. Like it's a burn the village tour, pay us or we'll.
Yeah, I think so. Dude, how was that show? Oh, they burned it down, man. It was amazing.
It was awesome. And then did you guys see him perform? No, every city kept paying them to not perform. So they just drove through.
Dude, it was actually a beautiful kumbaya moment. The entire city, without a single exception, came together to raise the funds to pay them not to perform.
Not to perform. And they just took a check and thanked everybody and left.
We were all in unity. It was beautiful.
Yeah, we just get these checks from these towns, and then we just drive to an Indian restaurant and have vegetarian dinners and go, well, that was fun. Like, we didn't even have to come up with segments. That was just an easy show.
Dude, and we made so much more than if we'd actually done a show. That's great. So now that's the end of the Civil War stuff. Now I'm going to skip to a couple from remainders from World War II. The Leaning Tower of Pisa came because we talked last week about how Paris was nearly entirely obliterated, and then one guy basically stopped it from happening. The Leaning Tower of Pisa came within 2 hours of being blown up as well. Advancing American troops in 1944. Well, let's see. Hold on. Let's back up. Sergeant Weckstein had been ordered by his commander to deploy a detachment to scout the Leaning Tower, which was thought to be occupied by German observers at the top to direct artillery fire on the American forces. So they thought the Leaning Tower of Pisa had spotters in it. His commander, Colonel Woods, had told him, if you see any Germans up in the tower, we'll have to demolish it. We're losing too many men. Weckstein spent as long as he could on the mission to avoid reporting back that he did think he saw German rifles and helmets through the pillars around the top of the tower. But he said he couldn't be absolutely sure, so he hesitated. He later reported back that there were no Germans visible. And after 2 tense hours during which the tower was one radio message away from being bombed, Weckstein recalled the attack on the Leaning Tower was called off. So again, one guy being like, I don't really want to blow up the Leaning Tower of Pisa.
Yeah, if it wasn't for one guy, that historical thing would be just leveled.
Yeah. I mean, it would have been funnier if, like, right after the war, it finally falls over.
There's a Leaning Tower in the suburbs of Chicago that's a replica, and it's called like the Leaning Tower. I forget what the suburb called, and then they have a Leaning Tower of pizza. No joke.
Was it made leaning intentionally, or this was another accidental situation?
No, it was made leaning intentionally.
Okay.
It's just like some, Buick dealership decided to build one or some shit like that. I can't remember, but it's in the suburbs of Chicago.
All right, let's see. I'll do one or two more before we skip to the next segment. All right, the Cold War near obliteration might have to wait till next week, but we did a lot of tangents here, but I feel like they were worth it. I feel like they were solid tangents, prepping for doomsday, etc.
Yeah, and now we've got a great Cold War segment already lined up for the next episode. I'm excited.
Locked and loaded. The Nazis very, very much could have gotten the atomic bomb before us. They had two Nobel Prize winners working on the program, Otto Hahn and Werner Heisenberg, who by early 1942 understood what was needed to build an atomic device. But it was and of course, without Einstein fleeing Germany and coming to the US, you wouldn't have had the atomic bomb either. But it was the German assessment of how long the war would last. They assumed it would be a maximum of 18 more months in 1941. And so that drove them to relegate the atom bomb low down the list of priorities because they thought that the atom bomb would take longer to get than the actual war would last. They did not put effort into the bomb simply because they judged it would take longer to develop than the war would last. Well, I guess actually Germany surrendered before we had the atomic bomb, right? So, or before we were ready to use it. So I guess they were kind of right in their regard, but
yeah, I mean, I guess looking back, there was probably thought we're going to win this war in the next 18 months, so we don't need to do this.
Yeah, and actually, when I say they were right, technically they were wrong in that if they had kept working on the atomic bomb at the same pace, they would have had it well before us, could have used it, and could have won the war.
Yeah. I don't know. Do you think Hitler would have used it?
He seemed like a peace first kind of guy.
He's pretty reasonable. I mean, when all said and done,
it was like let's try peace before we do anything rash. When the German scientists ultimately heard of the American effort, they estimated that from where they had left off, had they applied the same effort, they might have secured a working bomb in late 1944, 6 months before the Americans. I'm going to put that under the list of glad it didn't happen. But so I think we mentioned this in we did a full episode on the atomic bombs, how they didn't need to be dropped, how they were dropped by America for two reasons. One was basically just to test how awful they were and how much damage they could do. And the second was to just scare the shit out of the Soviet Union, who was technically an ally in World War II, but the capitalists very much still already viewed, well before that, viewed communism as the greatest threat. And so they wanted to show the Soviet Union not only that they had the bomb, but that they were willing to use it.
Right.
But that being said, I will give one more story here about how, and we might have mentioned this, I don't remember in the episode, but Nagasaki was not supposed to be the target of the second nuclear bomb. The 210,000 citizens of Kokura, about 100 miles southwest of Hiroshima, which had been devastated 3 days before, were the ones scheduled to be vaporized on August 9th. It was selected for having the largest ammunition factory in Western Japan. The complex where 12,000 people worked was the aiming point for the second nuclear bomb. The B-29 bomber was overhead by 10 a.m. and circled the city 3 times with the bomb doors open. But clouds, as well as smoke from an air raid the day before, obscured the view. So the bomber gave up and flew on to Nagasaki, 1 hour south, which was the secondary target, and at 11:02 a.m. dropped the device. 74,000 people were killed instantly, and many more. An equal number, if not more, died after the fact.
Yep, only country to ever use the weapon.
Yeah, and yet we claim that, well, we can't let fill in the blank have the nuclear bomb because they're loony enough to use it.
Yeah, like us. You mean you know that they're as crazy as we are?
Yeah. All right, I will stop there, and we'll do some secrets of Cold War next week.
Yay! Thank you, Lee Cam, for the secrets of Cold War and the boot apocalypse. In
Boots are perhaps one of the reasons that the Civil War ended. But.
Thank you, by the way, for that. We had a little super chat in there from a mustache. Thank you.
Excellent name.
Thank you, Holly Horn, who's got a new handle, is our moderator. Let's do segment number 2. Oh, I am so excited about this. Because I just love learning how our military is completely overpaid and then steals and scams money on top of the bloated budgets. I respect that level of greed so much, Lee, that you can just I'm getting a fat paycheck, not enough.
Thank you, Ratso, for supporting the show.
Thank you, Ratso. You deserve a trip to San Antonio. So the first one is the Randolph Air Force Base simulator bribery scheme. Lee, this was roughly just kind of a run-of-the-mill bribery scheme, just to the tune of about $100 million.
Nothing.
Yeah,
that's like 10%. I mean, that's like 1,000% of what they were trying to steal from Frederick, Maryland. So.
You see those amounts, and you're sitting there like, I'm sitting here putting together. I have a GoFundMe for this late night talk show I'm going to do here in Bangkok, and it's cool. I'm getting a lot of support, and investors are interested. But it's a lot of work and hustle to get this and that and the other thing. And I'm just looking at this scam, and I'm just like, if you guys gave me, if I just got $500,000, I could do like 2 different TV series. Like I could put so much cool, fun content out there, hire people, but give all these artists and actors work. And these guys are just the greasiest.
I wouldn't have to, with that kind of money, I wouldn't have to ask people to join Substack for the next 10 years.
Oh, God. I know. $100 million. It's just like, I wouldn't have to have a Patreon. I'd be like, guys, don't worry about it. Like, I'm going to just...
Well, and then you think about these like true lunatics like Elon Musk, and it's like $1 million. Like he could spend that on a dinner and like not even notice. It wouldn't even. They like the alerts you have on your credit card in case a certain amount is spent. He wouldn't even have that under his alerts, like $1 million.
Think about how many people just with $100 million, a guy like Elon Musk, which it would not fade. It would be. That's not even 1% of his wealth, right?
It's a lot less than 1%.
It's like a 1/10 or 1/100th of a percent of his wealth, right? He's worth $200 billion or something like that. So what?
Graham.
So the old numbers.
750 billion.
Oh,
he's worth 750 billion. You're talking like 2012 money.
Wow, I'm so out of date. I'm so out of touch. I'm such a flip phone when it comes to how much money this asshole has.
You're very much a flip phone. Yeah. No, literally, he's almost doubled it over the past like 6 months. Like 6 or 8 months ago, he and Larry Ellison were tied at 400 billion each, and and now Elon Musk has shot up to like over 700 billion. But it changes day to day, though.
What I would do with 100 million, the amount of people I would help, how many people could I get off the streets? Like how many people in the city of Los Angeles would I give a home to and housing, like education, mental health, whatever, just with $100 million, not even $1 billion of these idiots' money. Like,
oh yeah, I did actually, if people want to check it out, I did a Substack on this very topic on what Elon Musk could do with his worth. I'm trying to see if I can find it quickly, but
10% of his worth is $75 billion.
Here it is. Number one killer of people on the planet is dirty water. He could, it's estimated to take 38 billion a year to give everyone on the planet clean water. He could do that for 19 years. He could give everyone clean water and save 15 million lives.
All right.
So there's one example, but I give a bunch of examples. He could save 100 by ending world hunger. He could save 162 million lives over 18 years. He has enough money to do that.
God, it's so great. Anyway, so as filthy as these Air Force schemes are, they're nothing compared to the horrific, soulless, autistic Nazi of Elon Musk. Anyway, the long-running scandal involved a civilian employee at JBSA Randolph Steering, which was JBSA was a contractor, and they were steering massive government contracts to a specific software company in exchange for over $2 million in bribes. The key figure was a former civilian employee of the 502nd Trainer Development Squadron. That's where you make the money, is you get into the civilian companies that do business with the military,
Oh yeah. That's where the real money is. Thank you, Ecuadorian Taco, for supporting the show.
I could go for an Ecuadorian taco right now. So this was the scheme from 2007 to 2018. Nice 11 years of scams. Seguin conspired with David Bolduc Jr., owner of Virginia-based software firm Quantadyne, to rig contracts for flight simulator technology. Seguin provided confidential information to help Quantadyne secure approximately $100 million in work. So this is just one of them. We're going to go through a bunch of them.
Now you kind of see how, because I used to cover back when it first came out, the 21 trillion missing at the Pentagon unaccounted for adjustment. Now you see how that can happen.
Yeah, I know. So easy. This is one little 11-year scam.
Yeah.
One with two guys. One guy's funneling money to the owner of another guy. But this is just constant.
Yep.
But the outcome of this, at least there's some solace in this, and that Keith Seguin was sentenced in April of 2023 to 188 months, which is 15 years in prison, and ordered to pay over $38 million in restitution. Oh, that's cool. I mean, the other 62 million, I guess that all went up his nose and into his yachts and whatever else. The David Bolduc Jr. Was that?
Oh, I was just agreeing. Yeah. Sure it did. I'm sure it went up all the holes. Yeah.
I'm sure there's some strippers in Vegas that did quite well for themselves. And if that's where there's some strippers that
he's a job creator. You're not giving me credit.
Yeah. If some of these strippers I hope these guys, some of those women just milk these guys, and now they're like, no, I own my own home and I don't have to dance anymore. I hope that at least that happens somewhere along the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
David Bolduc Jr. received a 10-year sentence in November of 2025 and was ordered to pay $37.7 million in restitution. Quintadyne was fined $6 million and placed on 5 years probation.
Aw.
So the two guys got busted for sure, but the big corporation that benefited, the tech company that did software for the military, they just got a little slap on the wrist. And I bet you all the people there that were a part of it, they got little slaps on the wrist. We got a couple more minutes. We'll do a couple more of these. This one is my favorite. It's the Brigadier General wire fraud and tax evasion one. Which again, we're just talking about the Air Force, which is why I was like, I know the Fat Leonard thing. He was saying if you arrested all the admirals, there'd be no more Navy. If you arrested all these generals for this, I bet you there'd be no more Air Force.
Yeah, yeah. And part of the reason that there is so much of this corruption is because when you're a brigadier general, it's like you can walk around doing just about anything in regular society and throw around that you're a brigadier general and everyone just falls over. Like,
Yep.
you can get banks to do things they wouldn't do for normally for people. It's, oh, you're going to turn down a brigadier general. Let me again show you my cards, my epaulets on my shoulders. He probably puts on full uniform, just going to the bank. Like,
Yeah, and they're just like, here's $100 million line of credit, sir, or whatever. And he says,
Yeah.
oh, I needed to save the country from the blah, blah, blah. And he just goes out and buys 15 yachts.
you can never be too safe against ISIS. I'm going to need $10 million.
Yeah.
I saw ISIS down the
Mm.
street here in Cleveland. It's pretty rough.
Ooh. I need a line of credit. I just need one right now. ISIS might attack the helicopter that lands on one of my yachts. And so we can't have that happen. The whole country will break down.
Yes.
The key figure was retired Brigadier General Scott A. Bethel. Like, you already are getting a Brigadier General's pension, which is probably something like $1 million a year. Like what would?
Yeah, but he deserves to be super rich because he risked his life by pushing a button on a computer screen that bombed a 10-year-old. So
Yeah.
if someone's gonna risk their life like that, they don't deserve to be well off. They deserve to be crazy rich.
Yeah, I'm glad Scotty got a little taste. The scheme was Brigadier General Scott A. Bethel submitted false hotel invoices and double billed for reimbursements while working as a government contractor and advisor. Again, you retire as a brigadier general, you're getting at least probably 200-300 grand a year. That's your pension and the fullest of nicest of benefits ever. And now that you're retired, you can go get a government contractor job where all your expenses are going to get paid. And that's where those guys really make money. Now you're probably making a 7-figure income.
Also,
And you're
go ahead.
gonna double bill the hotel. Like, what was he stealing hotel towels? You cheap asshole. Like,
I was going to say, you're also, if you go and get the early bird special at the Olive Garden in full retired brigadier general dress uniform, guarantee you get a free dessert. I'll bet you anything. He got a free dessert every time.
and he probably stole extra breadsticks and put them in his backpack. You know what I mean? Just what a cheap little filthy scam artist.
Backpack filled with breadsticks.
Like, if you went into his house, he would have a whole room of like those little extra butter tabs from
Oh my God. Well, you got to take those. The little jellies, those jellies, they're good. The miniature jellies, they're good for, I'm going to say upwards of 10 years. You can leave them in stacks in your basement.
And hotel towels. He's just like a like kleptomaniac hoarder. So he also falsified tax deductions and business expenses. Like, again, dude, and I'm a general. I support the honest American way. Like, he was spewing that nonsense 24/7 about he's this ethical, pure. I'm the most American pure. We have our system of law here. And shut up, you scam artist.
Well, you're forgetting, Graham, that he was trying to fill the void of an addiction he used to have for murdering people around the world just by giving orders and telling other people to murder them. And now he's got to fill that void. So he's filled it with the little butters from Olive Garden. So, it's like something has to fill that.
The void of ordering some guy in Orlando with a joystick to, bomb some poor people in the Middle East. And you're right.
That's a real high. That's a real high. So you got to replace that with something. And it seems to be pilfering tiny shampoo bottles.
Like those wrapped 4 Q-tip packs. He's just got boxes of them. You know what I mean? He steals the boxes off of the cart in the hallway.
First of all, you never know when you're going to need a Q-tip. Secondly, once you have, I'd say, a $250,000 of those, you can sell them for a pretty good price on eBay.
Oh yeah, on the Q-tip black market. Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
There's a whole
Individually wrapped Q-tips go for pretty good. I'm going to say 2-3 cents a pack.
probably double.
Double in these times, yeah.
He was sentenced to 12 months and 1 day in federal prison, and ordered to pay 150.
Where he stole all the soaps. He left that prison with 17 bars of soaps up his rectum.
Up his right. Yeah, he was a soap mule, and put him. And he had to pay $154,827 in restitution. All right, I'll do one more of these because they're so beautiful. They're just so great. We could do these for hours. This is the JBSA Lackland housing fraud. While not exclusively a money theft scandal, this involved financial fraud regarding privatized military housing at JBSA Lackland. The scheme: employees at Belford Betty Communities, the firm managing housing at Lackland and other bases, faked maintenance records to qualify for performance bonuses from the Air Force.
Okay.
It's like when I was in college, you know, me and my buddy talked about this. Our parents paid for our college, but nothing else. And so other friends of ours' parents were like paying for everything or whatever. And we were, my buddy, my roommate Pete was from New York. I was from Chicago, and we had to run scams. So we got a job working security at the football and basketball games. In University of Arizona, we've always had a really good basketball team. And so
when you say, hold on, I need a clear picture here. When you say running security, does that mean you went up to the stadium and said, "We'll run your security," or were you working for a security company?
I love that you thought that I had my own like scam security team.
Yeah. You just walk up and say, "We got this. This is where we're gonna keep the baddies out."
I just did it Chicago style. Yeah. It's protection money. We'll keep your stadium safe. You know what I mean? Because the last thing you want is your stadium falling down a flight of stairs and breaking its knees. You know what I mean? Like bad things can happen.
You know, the coke that happens to spill on these stairs. So you're saying you got hired by a security company?
Yeah. There was a security company called VIP Security. Basically, we were glorified ushers. They called us security. We were just ushers.
Okay.
But we had the basketball game so dialed in that we became buddies with the scalper named Gino, not making this up. And
I mean, it's illegal for him not to be named Gino.
And he said, we started talking and he goes, "Hey, what about you guys get me," because the games were sold out and he was having a heart. And he goes, "What about you guys get me some standing room only seats and I split the profits with you?" And I said, "We can do that." So we would then, he'd bring guys in. We brought him in a back. We're the security guard. So we found like a side exit and brought his guys in. They paid him for standing room only.
Standing room, and they're technically not allowed to stand there, right?
And there were sections there that you could kind of stand. They weren't really standing room only. So we just said, "You're in. Just keep moving. Don't stand too much in one place."
Keep moving. That's different than standing room only. It's a keep moving ticket. Yeah, you're gonna need to. You can watch up close, but you got to keep moving along at all times. I love the idea of this guy with his hot dogs and hamburgers and beer, and he's just got to keep walking at all times.
And we kind of said, like, we kind of worked this section. So we're like, "Where's this?" So we'd say, you can probably stand up in that section for a little longer. And we, and then like one of our managers.
At what point did they realize this was not allowed? This has not been signed off on by the stadium.
Well, it was like college kids that really wanted to get in. Like everybody kind of knew.
Oh, they kind of knew it was a con.
It was like, "Look, you want to play scalper tickets? It's going to be $75. You want standing room only?
It's And if anyone asks your name, say Muhammad Ali. Don't give a real name."
So we brought these guys in. We get a little taste, and then we were such scavengers. The the concession, we became friends with all the concession stands. And when the game was over, they'd always have extra hot dogs and pizzas that they were going to throw out. We fucking taken. So I'd have stadium pizzas for a week in our apartment. And, when you're a college kid, you're like, this is awesome. Just like pizza and hot dogs.
So did you never get caught for your standing room only tickets?
No, never. We had scam.
I'm waiting for some stadium manager to be like, why the fuck are there 15 people in that one little standing in that alcove, all holding their food, eating hot dogs? It's like a party atmosphere. They're bouncing a beach ball around. What?
We would find spots like there'd be like maybe an extra seat in the handicap section, because they'd have a wheelchair, and then they have chairs next to the.
You were like, sit here, but pretend you can't use your right leg. Just. I'm gonna put some gauze over your jeans. You just pretend.
Just take your t-shirt and then put it like this so your arm's in a sling, and just walk around like that.
Just cover up. Hey, so it's standing room only tickets. You need to keep moving and put one arm in your shirt. Okay, see you later. Wait, what?
Best of luck. So we did that.
I love this.
Yeah, and then I'm sitting here listening to these stories, and I was like, I got out of college, and slowly in my 20s, I was like, I can't do this kind of stuff anymore. Like, I don't want to be a criminal. I want to be an upstanding citizen. Turns out I should have just joined a military contractor.
Yeah,
and I could have done, because I thought was I had a scam brain. I was always like looking for the shortcut and the angle. If I would have joined a contractor I'd be rolling in money right now.
Yeah, you would have. I don't know if the statute of limitations is up on your little racket you had there in the stadium, but you might get a phone call later today. I don't know if they.
I was at Arizona State University. That's where I went to school. Arizona State University in Tempe.
Yes,
check that out.
If anybody's looking, and my name is Blam Blowwood.
Blam Smellcord, and yeah. So that's the scams. That was the. There's more of these. I could do. We could do. I could just stay in San Antonio next episode and.
All right. Well, I'm definitely getting to Cold War secrets next time. So.
Oh. God love them. And then maybe I'll just do all the scams that I committed in college episode, and we'll go.
Oh, I love that. I consider that a government secret. I feel like. It really would have changed U.S. history if we had known the truth about Graham scams.
If I ever run for president and they dig this up, I'll just go, yeah, of course I did, because I had to,
Oh my God! From this point on, after Donald Trump, can you imagine the level of illegal shit people could do and be like, so he sold coke to 10-year-olds when he was in his 20s? That's nothing compared to what our presidents do.
Yeah, I mean, just his meme coins alone are like more of a scam. Like my standing room only, I could say, actually, I was doing community service. I was helping people enjoy basketball. Like that's what I could say.
You were helping very recently disabled people become enjoy basketball games. They actually just became disabled as they walked into the stadium. That first step in the stadium is a doozy. It just gets a lot of people.
They became disabled after they finished their hot dog and beer, and then they were like disabled and then got to sit down. Oh my God. Yeah. So that's what happened in San Antonio, and just down the street in Tucson, Arizona, I was doing my thing.
All right, folks, we are headed over to do an extra segment at patreon.com/government secrets. And if you join up over there, you can unlock 90 some extra segments that we do every episode. Thank you so much for supporting the show. If you're listening on the podcast, I also have other podcasts. One's called Moment of Clarity. But if you're on Spotify, it's called The Lee Camp Show. And then another one called Common Censored.
Yeah, and really, we're almost done. We're doing this fundraiser or GoFundMe for this late night talk show, Hollywood Asia Tonight in Bangkok. We're lining up writers, we've got investors, and we just need a little startup money, and you can help with that. And also, so go to grahamelwood.com. There's a GoFundMe link right there. You can just, if everybody just gave $5-10, it would really help us get over the hump. And then if you're going to be in Bangkok in, March and April, we're going to be shooting. So hit me up and you can be in the studio audience. So go to grahamelwood.com and click on the GoFundMe link.
All right. See you at Patreon in a minute. Thanks.
All right. We'll be at patreon.com/government secrets. This has been Civil War and San Antonio Scams.
Later.
See you. Thanks, everybody.